Do you want to learn how to install a Furrion Vision S vehicle observation system on your RV? Well, stick around, because that's what I'm fixing to show you. Hey y'all, I'm Cole and this is Younger Every Day. So basically we bought a fifth wheel, sold all our stuff in Texas, packed up the kids and the dog and headed west. Now I'm going to school and we're loving this crazy RV life. On this channel we do product reviews, take you on amazing adventures, and share tips and tricks for RV living, just like this one. So if you're new here, don't forget to click subscribe and join the Younger Gang so you can be part of our community. And don't forget to ring the bell so you get notified every time we share a new video. Today I'm going to be installing the Furrion Vision S vehicle observation system with 7-inch screen on our 2017 Jayco North Point. Now our rig came pre-wired for a backup camera, but what that means is there's allegedly a 12-volt wire inside this center marker light on the back of our rig. I've got to find that, connect the camera to it, install the camera, and do all the stuff that goes along with it. Now your RV might be pre-wired for a backup camera and actually have the bracket on it. If you've got the bracket, this camera would be super easy to install. It's not going to be too difficult for me, but it'd be even easier for you. So keep watching to see that. If you stick around to the end, I'll share a bonus tip on telling you the difference between a vehicle observation system and a backup camera. So let's get to work installing this bad boy on our rig. For this project, you're going to need a drill. In this case, I chose Dawn's cordless drill. You're also going to need a 5/8 inch spade bit for making the hole into your RV. Also, I used a 7/64 bit to drill my holes for my screws. And I think I ended up using 5/16 bit to make a hole through the little paneling to the inside that I've ran into. I also used my vice grips quite a bit, although a wire stripper would have been fine. You'll need electrical tape. I also used some blue painter's tape. This is 3M's version, just to put on the outside before I drilled into the fiberglass, just to make sure that it didn't crumble it and mess it up. I used a ratcheting screwdriver, any kind of hand screwdriver, just because I wanted to be very careful as I tightened my screws down to hold the camera in place. You'll need some wire nuts or some other type of connector so you can splice in your wires. Also, you'll need some type of screw. Now, the camera itself recommended 3/4 inch self-tapping flathead screws. I was not able to find 3/4 inch self-tapping flathead screws, so I went with a 3/4 inch flathead stainless steel screw, and I got it nice and snug. Possibly the most important tool you'll need is a wire coat hanger or a wire tape puller so that you can pull your cable through from one hole to the other once you've connected it up. And last but not least, some safety glasses. Always like to use that, especially when drilling. And of course, you'll need your vehicle observation system or backup camera so you can install that too. All right, so the first step is going to be to remove my center marker light on the back of my rig so I can look for that 12-volt wire I mentioned earlier. It's got a rubber gasket around the marker light here, with then also a metal gasket on top of that. There's my rubber grommet right there, and I'm going to see if I can pull the wire out and find what we're looking for. If you don't have a tape puller or a regular cardboard hanger bent to the right shape, makes a really good hook for getting these wires out of here in a small space. Oh, there's the tape. Aha! Okay, so that's the whole bundle. I found the correct wire. It's the blue wire. It is taped in with all these wires for the center marker light, which is where it's supposed to be. They have a white loop they spliced into and a green loop they spliced into. I think they expect me to splice into this blue loop for my power. I probably will use my multimeter just to make sure this is 12-volt hot and to determine 100% certainty which one of these is the ground and which one of these is the hot wire. So I got the multimeter. I'm just gonna make sure that is a hot 12-volt wire. Should be pretty easy to verify. There we go. There's our 12 volts. All right, that's the right wire. Okay, so I got my lights on, as you can see. Just want to double check which one of the wires going into my marker light is the ground and which one's hot. Usually green is ground, but the black wire is going to green and the white wire is going to white. So we're gonna figure it out real quick. I'm gonna go the way I think it should be, which is white is hot and green is ground. And I'm getting negative. So green is hot. Now I know green's hot and white is my ground. So I'm gonna connect my camera to my blue hot wire. I know it's hot. And I'm gonna connect my ground to my white ground. And that should give us power to the camera just like we need. Now all I've got to do is take this bracket gasket, put it where I want the camera to go, mark my holes and drill my holes so I can run well, drill the hole so I can run the cable to connect to the camera, and then also drill my holes for my screws. So I decided I'm going to split the distance between my marker light and the top of my decal here and put the camera right in the middle-ish. 49 3/16. And then about, what did I say, 3 3/4? Using my speed level to make sure I get the camera level. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm marking the center hole where my wire to my camera is going to go through. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark the holes. The screws holding the camera onto the trailer are going to go through as well. Marked our holes up here. Now I'm going to just start them. Then I'm going to put a little tape over them so I can drill them out without creating too much of a mess with the fiberglass. Got my safety glasses, even though I'm well above where the stuff's going to go. It's a little bit scary to drill a hole in the outside of your RV or your fifth wheel or your travel trailer, but we got to do it, and it's for a good cause. Oh, that's actually way easier than I thought it would be. Now I'm going to put a piece of tape over the center hole so I can use a slightly larger bit, which is recommended, which is a 5/8 bit on here to open that middle hole up. That might get a little messy. In spite of the fact that it feels too big, I'm going to use a 5/8 inch drill bit just because that's what the instructions recommend. Tried to walk on me.
Here's your metal.
Oh yeah? Oh, that may have been why it walked. Okay, so now just gotta fish this either from the top down to that hole or from the hole up to the top. So it looks like there's a stud behind the hole that I drilled, so I'm gonna try to go through the stud so I can fish my wire down through it. Oh, that was easy. That went through easily enough, so now I'm gonna see if I can fish my wire through there and then maybe I can grab it on the other side. Okay, we're inside. It's just a question of, can I find that wire? See if I can go through the hole now with this. It's going in there, and it's going up. Do you want to go see if it's coming out in the cabinet in there? Is that where I screwed through? Because if it did, I need to poke another hole to come up into this part. I ran into a little wood, drilled through that, and now my cable is inside the kids' book cabinet, which is fine. So I'm going to stick my cable in there, drill a hole straight up through the top of it, and then that should get me right where I want to be. I can feed my cable up through and maybe my hanger, and we should be able to get it done. We'll just have a little cable running through their cabinet in their room, which is fine. So before I feed this into the hole, I'm going to run it through my gasket to make sure that everything's nice and watertight. All right, now we can feed cable into my hole here. Now let's go inside and see what we have. All right, so the cable came into the cabinet. Now I'm just gonna make a hole in the same line going straight up, maybe an inch back or so, because I know there's a little stud there or something. Try to get up into the space where my cables are. I think we got it. Let's go check and see if it is in my other hole behind my marker light outside. I can see a little daylight through there, so I think we're good. Here we go, let's go fishing. Oh, that was easy, got it. One quick try, and look at that. There we are. Tuck the rest of that inside. All right. On my wire for my camera, here it is. Red is positive, black is negative, so now I know which to go to. I'll take the red to my hot wire and the black to my ground. All I'm doing is splicing the camera into the blue wire and the white wire. With my splice complete, now if I plug into this with my camera, I should have power to it. Let's check it out. Fingers crossed. Got a blue light? Oh yeah, we're alive. Cool. Now I can tape this up, fit everything back inside, and install my grommet with my camera on it, and then we'll sync it up and we'll be good to go. Okay, okay, now that ought to be separate enough. I'll try to tape this so it'll be easy. If somebody goes to pull it out, it should all come out. And now let's tuck it back in. Stick the grommet in first. And then the light will go right in. Boom. I'm gonna try running a screw in, just kind of get started here. Since that kind of started to tear it up a little, I'm gonna put a little piece of tape over these before I screw them in. Try to keep it from damaging the fiberglass too much, even though it'll be covered. Oh, that's hitting that metal. It's like pulling up the fiberglass right there. So I'm gonna have to use a drill bit to make my hole. Okay, so let's see if I can drill a hole in the middle. Be sure to check if you have a little metal bulkhead behind where you're screwing your screws. You better poke a little hole in it so you can run your screws in. Now I've got my holes ready to go. I'll hook my camera in, take the screws from my camera body through the grommet into the trailer, and we'll be good to go. If you already had the bracket, all you would need to do is take these 4 screws out of the camera housing, do away with this shark fin bracket, and then put your camera housing right into your bracket, which would have these same 4 screws and just a little plate there. Now, hopefully I can find my screw holes and get them screwed in here. I chose to do this by hand because I don't want to strip out the place where my screws are going in the fiberglass. Get all my screws in and then I'll tighten them down. Thankfully I used the gasket to mark my holes and pre-drilled them. Otherwise I'd be having a hard time getting this thing straight right now. Think we're good and snug? Let's get the antenna on here. I don't think I can get it any tighter than that. Antenna's on. Let's get the screen and see if we can connect it up. I'm gonna get the monitor out now and plug it into power so that we can pair it with the camera. Let's go ahead and plug it in. Turn it on. Oh, looks like we're already connected. It wants to call that the door cam. Okay, I'm okay with calling that cam 1, I guess. I can hear the girls who are playing inside through the microphone on the camera. We got a successful installation. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put my monitor. I think I'll put it right over here. Hopefully that'll be a good position. There we go. Pretty nice to have a view behind the trailer while we're driving down the road. I'm really excited about checking it out. Let's talk about the difference between a vehicle observation system and a backup camera. I put on a vehicle observation system. What that means is it can observe the vehicle during any circumstances. Backing up, driving down the highway, security at night, whatever I want it to do. Backup camera only comes on when you're backing up, and it all depends on where you wire to. So in this case, I wired mine to a 12-volt hot wire so that it'll be on all the time and I can just use it whenever I want. Others might attach it to the marker light, in which case the camera would only turn on when your vehicle is attached and your trailer lights are on. That's not what I wanted. I wanted something that I could use no matter what, so it'll just be on all the time, and then I'll connect to it using the monitor. So that's the difference really between a backup camera and a vehicle observation system. I guess you can wire either one either way. Backup cameras are typically designed to come on when you're backing up. If I could do this over, I would make a couple of modifications to what I did. First of all, I wouldn't have drilled a 5/8 inch hole through the back of the rig. Instead, I would have done a hole only large enough for my cable to go through, because that's really all I needed. So I don't know if the manufacturer intended for me to fish down the big connecting head and push it through that hole or what, but I didn't really need that hole that big. Secondly, I probably would have tapped around on my fiberglass back to make sure that I wasn't putting my camera somewhere where there was a stud or something in the way. In this case, my hole where my cable went through was right underneath a metal stud. Thankfully, I wasn't right in the middle of that stud, or that would have been a problem. What that metal stud meant for me was that I had to drill a little further than just through the fiberglass. I had to drill into that stud and make sure my screws went into that as well. Added a little bit of extra difficulty tightening them down, but because I knew it was there, it wasn't too big of a problem. I think if I had it to do over, because of the difficulty of drilling a hole, running everything through it, and fishing the wire, I think I would have installed my backup camera either on the actual light hole and just removed that center marker light, or I would have bought the rear camera with a marker light and just replaced that light. The only thing about that is I still would have had a camera that only turned on when my lights are on. but I'm not sure. Maybe you could wire the light portion to the lights and the camera portion to the hot wire. I'm not sure how it works since I didn't buy that one. One thing to be sure of, you need to feed the wire that connects to your camera that powers it through the gasket before you go into the trailer. I did it without doing that and then had to undo it and redo it. I'm not sure you even saw that because of the beauty of movie magic. I've shown you how I installed a backup camera on our rig. Now I want to know, have you installed a backup camera on your rig? If so, which one did you pick and how did it go? Let us know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, give us a thumbs up and let us know you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe and join the younger gang so that you can keep up with our adventures as we share each video. As soon as we get a chance to try this new camera out, you can click it right up here to see our review of it. So buying a backup camera, but waiting until we had to back up a really long ways in the dark before we installed it, that's just another way that we're living younger every day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.